Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Young and the Restless channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit like for more daily drama updates and spoilers. Your support truly means a lot and helps our channel grow every day. Monday, August 17th brings a dramatic turn to Genoa City, as one resident refuses to simply accept that his professional future has been decided for him. At Society, Lily Winters is prepared to make a major announcement when she reveals that she is rescinding Billy Abbott's job offer, believing she has every right to put an end to his involvement. But Billy is not about to quietly walk away, and he quickly makes it clear that Lily may not have the authority she thinks she does. With Kane Ashby nearby, Billy drops a bombshell that leaves both Lily and Kane stunned, claiming that the Abbotts now have a legitimate claim to Chancellor. What follows is a tense confrontation filled with disbelief, suspicion, and the growing realization that Billy may have uncovered something powerful enough to completely change the balance of power. Billy explains that his discovery goes all the way back to John Abbott, and a debt that was never properly paid, revealing a long-buried connection that could now have enormous consequences for Chancellor. Lily and Kane struggle to believe what they are hearing, convinced that Billy must have found some loophole or created an elaborate scheme to seize control. But Billy remains completely confident, insisting that the documents he uncovered in the Chancellor archives are legitimate and that he is not bluffing about taking over. The more Lily pushes back, the more determined Billy becomes, refusing to let her intimidation force him into retreat. Lily then delivers a chilling warning, making it clear that if Billy continues down this path, she could take away everything that matters most to him. Yet, even with that threat hanging heavily in the air, Billy refuses to surrender, standing his ground as the battle for Chancellor becomes deeply personal. The situation becomes even more complicated when Holden Novak arrives and learns what is unfolding, only to realize that Billy's sudden takeover could put his own position in serious jeopardy. What had seemed like a normal day quickly transforms into a crisis that threatens multiple careers and relationships at once. Meanwhile, the consequences of Billy's discovery are already reaching the Abbott family, where Jack Abbott, Tracy Abbott, and Ashley Abbott are about to confront the uncomfortable truth about what Billy has found. At Jabot, Jack shocks his sisters by revealing the details Billy uncovered in the Chancellor archives, and the revelation immediately raises concerns about where this fight could lead. Ashley and Tracy are far from thrilled by the idea of Billy battling for control of Chancellor, especially if the dispute could drag the Abbott family name into controversy. But just when it seems they might try to stop him, Ashley begins to see the situation from a different perspective. Ashley realizes that perhaps Billy genuinely needs this fight, and instead of encouraging the family to stand in his way, she advises them to let him make his own choice. Jack, however, remains deeply uneasy because he does not want John Abbott's legacy or reputation dragged through some ugly corporate scandal. To Jack, protecting his father's image is about more than business, and the thought of John's name becoming connected to a controversial takeover weighs heavily on him. Tracy and Ashley understand his concerns, but they also recognize something Jack may be struggling to accept. Billy is going to move forward, whether the family approves or not. They urge Jack to take a step back and allow Billy to handle the consequences of his own decision rather than creating an even bigger family conflict. For the moment, the Abbotts seem united in one difficult truth: Billy has made up his mind, and nothing they say may be enough to stop what is coming. But Kane is not willing to sit back and watch Chancellor slip away without a fight. Once he manages to get Jack on the phone and learns that Jack is at his office, Kane immediately heads there, knowing he needs the Abbotts' help before Billy's plan becomes impossible to stop. His concern is not simply about losing a position or watching corporate power change hands. Kane is deeply worried about the consequences that Billy's victory could create for everyone connected to Chancellor. When Kane arrives, he makes an urgent plea to the Abbotts, hoping they will intervene before Billy can fully execute his takeover. The pressure surrounding Chancellor continues to build as old family history, unfinished business, and competing loyalties collide, and with Billy refusing to back down, Lily refusing to surrender, and Kane searching for allies, the battle is only beginning. While the Chancellor crisis threatens to consume Genoa City, a very different kind of emotional development is unfolding at Nate Hastings' place. Stephanie Simmons learns that Nate is finally preparing to undergo the procedure on his hand, a decision that could determine whether he has a real chance of returning to the medical career he once loved. Nate gives Stephanie credit for inspiring him to consider a return to medicine, although he knows everything depends on whether the surgery goes well. For Nate, this is more than simply a medical procedure. It represents the possibility of reclaiming a part of himself that he thought might be lost forever. Stephanie understands just how important this opportunity is to him, and rather than simply offering words of encouragement, she takes action. She reaches out to a friend who happens to be an orthopedic surgeon and arranges for her to fly in for a consultation, giving Nate a renewed sense of hope that his future in medicine may still be within reach. The orthopedic surgeon believes Nate could be an excellent candidate for her new technique, making the possibility of a successful recovery feel more real than it has in a long time. Stephanie is especially hopeful that Nate could eventually return to Genoa City Memorial Hospital as a surgeon, and her optimism seems to breathe new energy into him. Amid all the uncertainty, however, there is also room for something lighter and more personal between them. Stephanie agrees to let Nate cook lunch for her, turning what could have been a serious and emotionally heavy conversation into a warmer, more relaxed moment. Nate puts his skills to the test with grilled cheese, and surprisingly, he manages to impress Stephanie with his cooking. As they spend time together, their easy interaction begins to carry an unmistakable spark, with playful chemistry slowly replacing the seriousness that surrounded Nate's medical future. What starts as a simple lunch soon feels like something that could become much more meaningful. Stephanie and Nate appear genuinely eager to spend more time together, and their growing comfort around each other suggests that there may be more beneath the surface than friendship. While Nate is fighting to reclaim his future as a surgeon, he may also be discovering an unexpected new possibility in his personal life. At the same time, the war over Chancellor is escalating into a major Abbott family crisis, creating two very different stories filled with uncertainty, hope, and emotional stakes. Billy is determined to seize control of the future he believes belongs to his family, while Kane desperately searches for a way to stop him before everything changes. And as Nate and Stephanie's connection quietly begins to deepen, Genoa City may soon have another romance waiting to unfold. Stay tuned, because Monday's drama promises that whether it is business, family, or love, nothing is as settled as it seems. The tension surrounding Chancellor refuses to fade because Billy Abbott's determination has pushed everyone involved into unfamiliar territory. What began as an unexpected discovery in the archives has now become a full-scale power struggle, with Lily Winters, Kane Ashby, and the Abbotts standing on opposite sides of a battle that could reshape their futures. Lily may believe she can shut Billy down by rescinding his job offer, but Billy has made it clear that this is no longer about whether she wants him at Chancellor. He believes he has uncovered a legitimate claim that gives his family control, and the confidence in his voice suggests he is prepared to fight anyone who challenges it. Every document and every piece of John Abbott's unfinished business now carries greater weight, because Billy sees them as proof that the Abbotts have a right to step into Chancellor's future. For Lily, accepting Billy's claim would mean surrendering far more than a position or a corporate title. She has invested herself deeply in Chancellor, and the thought of losing control to Billy threatens everything she has been trying to protect. Her warning that she can take away everything that matters to him is therefore not an empty threat, but a desperate attempt to make Billy understand the price of his decision. Yet Billy appears unwilling to be frightened into submission, especially now that he believes the truth is finally on his side. Kane, meanwhile, is caught in an increasingly dangerous position because he knows exactly what Billy's victory could mean for him and for the future of Chancellor. With Holden Novak already realizing that his own job may disappear, the fallout from this dispute is spreading far beyond the people standing at the center of it. And then there is Jack Abbott, whose greatest fear is not simply losing Chancellor, but watching the Abbott family name become attached to a scandal surrounding John Abbott's legacy. Jack has spent years protecting his father's memory, and hearing that Billy intends to use old financial records and unpaid debts to claim Chancellor forces him into an uncomfortable emotional battle. Ashley and Tracy understand why Jack wants to protect John's reputation, but they also recognize that Billy is acting from a place of deep conviction. They know he has found something that matters to him, and they know that trying to physically or emotionally block him could only make the situation worse. That is why Ashley's perspective begins to shift, as she considers that perhaps Billy needs this opportunity to prove himself, even if the road ahead is filled with risk. Jack may still be uncomfortable, but his sisters are making it clear that the family cannot control every decision Billy makes. Kane's arrival only adds another layer of urgency to the situation. After learning that Jack is in his office, Kane wastes no time heading over because he knows the Abbott family may be his best chance of preventing Billy from gaining complete control. His plea is likely to put Jack in an impossible position, forcing him to weigh his loyalty to Billy against his desire to protect the Abbott legacy. Kane understands that once Billy's claim is fully recognized, reversing the situation could become nearly impossible. That fear is what drives him to seek help, even though he knows asking the Abbotts to interfere could create even more family tension. As the pressure builds inside Jabot, every person involved must decide how far they are willing to go before this corporate battle turns into something much more destructive. While all of this unfolds, Nate Hastings is facing a completely different kind of uncertainty, one that is deeply personal rather than corporate. His hand procedure could become the turning point that determines whether he can return to the operating room and rebuild the career that once defined him. Stephanie Simmons understands how much this means to him, which is why she refuses to let his fear or doubt stand in the way of a possible solution. By contacting her orthopedic surgeon friend and arranging a consultation, Stephanie gives Nate something he desperately needs, a reason to believe that his future may not be over. The possibility of using a new technique creates genuine hope, especially because the surgeon believes Nate could be an excellent candidate. For someone who has been forced to question whether he will ever practice medicine again, that kind of optimism could mean everything. But the most surprising development may be happening between Nate and Stephanie themselves. Their lunch begins innocently enough, with Nate preparing grilled cheese after Stephanie agrees to stay and eat with him. Yet, as they settle into the moment, their conversation and easy connection take on a warmer quality. Nate's effort to impress her with his cooking may seem simple, but the fact that Stephanie genuinely enjoys the experience gives the scene an intimate charm. For a man facing an uncertain medical future, being able to laugh, relax, and enjoy someone's company offers a welcome escape from the pressure surrounding his upcoming procedure. Stephanie, meanwhile, seems increasingly comfortable around Nate, and the chemistry between them is becoming difficult to ignore. There is something quietly hopeful about Nate's storyline, because his future appears to be opening in two directions at once. One path could lead him back to Genoa City Memorial Hospital, where he may finally reclaim his identity as a surgeon if the procedure succeeds. The other could lead him toward a new relationship with Stephanie, whose support has already become an important part of his journey. Neither possibility is guaranteed, but both give Nate something worth fighting for. And while his story carries the promise of healing and renewed purpose, Billy's battle over Chancellor continues moving toward a much more volatile confrontation. With Lily refusing to back down, Kane seeking the Abbot's intervention, and Billy determined to claim what he believes belongs to his family, Genoa City is heading toward another explosive chapter where old secrets could reshape the present.